Breaking. Did Kirk Frost really slap Karlie red after she dropped the ultimate bombshell claiming she's pregnant with his baby? No, this is not some deleted love and hip-hop scene. This is real, messy, scandalous, and allegedly violent. And honey, the internet is losing its damn mind, so let's get this straight. 1 minute, Kirk's smiling on Instagram with Rashida like he's father of the year. And the next minute, he's allegedly going full Zeus backstage because Karlie walked in with a belly, a receipt, and a story to tell. Oh, you thought this was just another reality TV stunt? Baby, think again. Because according to anonymous insiders, aka somebody's cousin's hairstylist's best friend, fists were flying, producers were panicking, and security had to step in before things got out of control. But the real question is, what are they hiding? Why is Karlie suddenly deleting posts? Why is VH1 dead silent while fans are out here piecing together bootleg footage and leaked DMs like it's an FBI operation? And most importantly, did Kirk actually lay hands on Karlie, or is someone spinning this for attention? Grab your popcorn, cause we're about to break down the mess they don't want you to know. So let's rewind for a second. Kirk Frost, Karlie Red. Two names that should have never ended up in the same sentence again, let alone the same scandal. But here we are. After years of dragging their messy history through every reunion stage and gossip blog in existence, we thought they were done for good. But no, because apparently, chaos is their love language. The streets of Atlanta and the darkest corners of social media are now whispering about something that could take this love and hip-hop drama from petty to criminal. Word on the curb is that Karlie Red pulled a power move straight out of a soap opera-ish, showing up unannounced, uninvited, and very much pregnant. And guess who she claimed as the father? You already know. Mr. Frost himself. Now before y'all roll your eyes and say, here we go again, just wait. Because this time the aftermath wasn't just a screaming match or a shady confession. This time, it allegedly ended with Kirk putting his hands on Karlie. Yes, allegedly, a slap. Behind closed doors. No cameras. No microphones. Just the kind of silence that makes people lie, deny, and then panic when the truth starts leaking. According to someone who works close to production, Karlie had been acting strange for weeks, dropping cryptic posts on her story, like some truths don't stay buried forever, and even if it hurts, it needs to be said. Nobody took her seriously at first, until she rolled up to the studio like a woman on a mission. She requested to speak to Kirk alone, told security to wait outside. And insiders say the tension in that room could have set off the sprinklers. What started as a calm conversation between two people with unfinished business allegedly exploded the moment Karlie said the word pregnant. Kirk was stunned, allegedly froze for a second, then asked her if she was drunk or crazy. But Karlie, baby, she wasn't stuttering. She told him this happened during one of their quiet moments before he made peace with Rashida. And before he started pretending like he was some reformed family man. She said she wasn't trying to start drama, she just thought he deserved to know. But apparently, that didn't go over well. Sources claim Kirk's whole vibe shifted. 1 second he was asking questions. The next he was screaming about how Karlie always shows up with mess every time his life starts settling down. And then the unthinkable happened. According to someone who says they were near the hallway, they heard yelling, something slam, and then complete silence. But by the time security was called back in, it was over. Karlie allegedly had her face in her hands. Kirk stormed out first, looking furious. And by the time Karlie left, she was being helped to her car by a friend. No visible injuries, but definitely shaken. This never made it to air. No footage, no leaked clips. Not even a confession cam. But that didn't stop fans from digging. Because when Karlie suddenly vanished from social media the very next day, no selfies, no tweets, no shade, that's when people really started to connect the dots. Especially when, exactly 7 days later, she returned with one cryptic story post, a blurry ultrasound photo. No caption, no explanation. And then, deleted, gone. But the internet moves fast, and screenshots went viral within the hour. Suddenly, it wasn't just rumors about a pregnancy, it was theories about violence, NDAs, and cover-ups. Meanwhile, Kirk was on Instagram acting like it was all good, smiling in staged family photos with Rashida, flipping burgers at the cookout like the father of the year. But the comments section told a different story. Fans were coming hard, calling him out, asking why he was silent, and most importantly, where was Rashida in all of this? Because while Kirk was busy pretending like nothing happened, Rashida was dead quiet. Too quiet. No likes, no posts, no comments, no shade. Just silence. Which only made the speculation louder. Did she know? Was she protecting him? Or was she blindsided like everybody else? According to a friend close to her, Rashida was devastated. Not just because of the pregnancy rumors, but because there were whispers that something darker happened behind the scenes. Then came the leaked texts. A conversation between Karlie and a close friend surfaced on a gossip page. In the exchange, Karlie said, "I didn't want to tell him like that. I was scared, but he needed to know." She didn't mention any slap, but it confirmed the pregnancy, and suddenly, people started shifting how they looked at Karlie. Not as a villain, not as the drama queen, but as someone who might have actually been telling the truth all along. Still, things got worse. A love and hip-hop producer allegedly reached out to Karlie, asking if she'd be willing to work through things off camera and not go public with certain claims. That producer even suggested they'd help guide the narrative at the reunion if she didn't file anything official. Fans were outraged, accusing the network of protecting Kirk and trying to silence Karlie to save face. One tweet said, "It best, they'll protect these men until there's blood on the floor." But Karlie wasn't done. She reportedly met with legal counsel, but was told without proof, no witnesses, no footage, her case wouldn't stand, so she pulled back. Stopped talking. Until the reunion taping came around. That's when all hell broke loose. At first, it was business as usual, cast members filing in, producers checking lighting, cameras rolling. Then the host leaned in, calmly asking Karlie, "Is it true you might be expecting?" The room froze. Karlie nodded, gasps, mouths dropped. Even the cast members who usually avoid the drama started shifting in their seats. Then came the question that set the internet on fire. Is Kirk the father? Kirk looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. He shuffled in his seat, clenched his jaw, and muttered, "We don't even know if that baby is mine." She could be saying anything. That was the moment Karlie locked eyes with him and said, "You and I both know it's possible. Don't lie now just to save face." The tension was so thick. Even the camera crew was holding their breath. Kirk tried to backpedal, claiming he made one mistake and barely remembered it. But Karlie snapped. "You told me to keep it quiet, said you'd take care of it. Then you vanished. Now you're saying I made it up." The set erupted. Cast members were whispering. Crew members started pacing. The audience was holding their breath. Then the host brought up the elephant in the room, the rumors about what happened at the studio weeks earlier. "Kirk," they asked, "do you want to address the allegations?" And that's when it got even darker. Kirk growled, "I'm not here to entertain gossip. People say anything to get what they want." But Karlie wasn't backing down. Her voice cracked as she looked directly at him and said, "Is it gossip if I lived it? Is it gossip when I was crying, shaking, and scared because of you?" Everyone froze. No one moved. No one said a word. She continued, "I told you in private. You flipped out. You slammed your hand on the table, screamed in my face. I never said you hit me. But I will say this, you scared me. You scared me." The room was dead silent after that. No one dared speak. Not the host, not the cast, not even production. Karlie had just dropped the kind of line that leaves a crater in the middle of a franchise. She didn't accuse him outright, but she didn't need to. The implication was clear. Her voice was steady, but her hands were trembling, and the entire atmosphere changed. It wasn't reality TV anymore. It was real, and everyone in the room felt it. Then Rashida finally broke the silence. Her voice was flat, deadpan, the kind of cold that says she wasn't shocked, just numb. She turned to Kirk and asked, "What now? Are you gonna keep lying, or are you gonna admit that you've dragged us both through hell?" Kirk didn't answer. He just sat there, blinking, lips tight, trying to decide whether to defend himself or say nothing at all. But Rashida wasn't finished. She stood up slowly, eyes locked on Kirk. "I've had your back through everything," she said. "You've lied, you've cheated, you had secret kids, and I stayed. But this, sitting here like you're the victim, like we're crazy for calling you out?" She turned to Karlie, tears welling up in her eyes. "You should have told me. Not for drama, not for ratings, because we were supposed to be better than this." And then she sat back down. That moment right there, that was the shift. Because, suddenly, it wasn't Karlie versus Rashida. It was two women tired of the same man playing them like they were extras in his little redemption arc. And as if that wasn't enough, sharp-eyed fans noticed something else. Karlie had a folded envelope in her lap the entire time. She never acknowledged it, never waved it around, but the moment a producer leaned over and whispered something in her ear, she nodded and slid her hand over it protectively. Viewers online went feral. Was it a paternity test? Medical records? Screenshots? Nobody knew for sure, but grainy behind-the-scenes images were leaked just hours after taping wrapped, showing that exact envelope clutched in Karlie's lap as she walked off stage, and just like that, the internet went from rumors to receipts. Within 24 hours, fan blogs were running wild. Some claimed a Love and Hip Hop editor had leaked the footage. Others swore a crew member snuck a copy of the studio security cam that showed Kirk storming out that day. Karlie claimed the confrontation happened, and then came the supposed smoking gun. A blurred, shaky video was anonymously posted to a gossip blog's Patreon. It was barely 10 seconds, filmed from what looked like a hidden corner, and there was no clear audio. But what you could see, a man who looked a whole lot like Kirk standing up fast, yelling something, and lunging forward as someone tried to hold him back. The person filming quickly ducked, and the video cut off. Was it real? Nobody could say for sure. But it didn't matter, because the fire had already spread. Fans didn't just want answers. They wanted justice. They wanted the reunion episode aired uncut. They wanted Kirk suspended from the show. They wanted VH1 and Mona Scott to answer for what they were allegedly hiding. One Twitter thread went viral with screenshots of previous interviews where Mona praised Kirk's growth and called him a prime example of a man learning from his mistakes. That didn't age well. Under pressure, Mona went radio silent. VH1 issued a vague statement about prioritizing cast safety and reviewing recent allegations. But it wasn't enough. Comment sections were flooded with people demanding accountability. Even other reality stars started chiming in. A former cast member from another franchise tweeted, "This isn't drama, this is trauma. Y'all better stop playing with people's real lives." Meanwhile, Kirk, quiet, dead quiet. No posts, no comments, no lives, nothing. Until suddenly, out of nowhere, he reappeared with a smug selfie in the studio, and the caption, "Still making moves." That was the final match on the gas can. The comments were brutal. "Making moves like ducking responsibility." One person wrote, "You slapped a woman and came back with a selfie." Another said, "Thousands of people unfollowed him that day, even verified accounts started dragging him." But here's where it gets even messier. Because apparently, the night before that reunion taping, someone sent Karlie a warning. A voice note. It leaked on a private gossip channel, allegedly recorded by someone close to the production team. In it, a voice that fans claim sounds suspiciously like Kirk's says, "I told her not to come to set. If she shows up with that pregnancy mess, she's gonna regret it." Again, not confirmed. No way to verify. But the internet didn't care. They played it on repeat, slowed it down, dissected the background noise. Some said it was Kirk. Others said it could have been anyone, but the timing. Way too convenient, and the language. Way too specific. Karlie didn't address the leak directly, but 2 days later, she posted a raw video to her own story. No makeup, no filter, no music. Just her, looking straight into the camera. She said, "I didn't ask for this, I didn't want this, but I won't be silent either. I've made mistakes, sure, but I didn't lie, and I'm not going to sit back and pretend it didn't happen." That was all it took. Public opinion shifted. The same fans who once clowned Karlie for being messy were now rallying behind her. Even podcasts started doing think pieces about how reality TV punishes the women who speak out and protects the men who cross the line. One host said, "Karlie isn't perfect, but she deserves to be heard." The silence around Kirk is louder than anything she's ever done, and Rashida, still silent. But she did post one picture. Just a candlelit dinner. No caption, no Kirk in sight. And everyone took that as a sign. Healing alone. Watching it all play out. Maybe realizing that her loyalty had limits after all. But while the women were picking up the pieces, guess what Kirk was doing? Acting like none of it mattered. He reportedly showed up late to a production meeting, walked in with shades on, said barely 2 words to anyone. When asked if he planned to release a statement or at least clear the air, he allegedly said, "I don't owe nobody anything." That's when producers had enough. According to a crew member who spoke to a blog anonymously, Kirk was told point blank that if he didn't cooperate, his scenes would be reduced, and he stormed out. That same night, Karlie posted another behind-the-scenes clip. This time, it was short. Just her, whispering to someone off camera, "I don't care if they cut this out. They want me to stay. Then they better stop protecting him." That one line. It echoed through social media like a siren. One fan commented, "This ain't a storyline anymore, this is survival." And just like that, the narrative flipped again. This wasn't about drama, it was about damage. About what happens when people in power get away with too much for too long. And about what happens when someone finally decides to stop protecting them. And while Karlie was out here whispering hard truths between takes, Kirk was still walking around like none of this concerned him. Like the whole franchise wasn't catching fire because of one bad decision that spiraled into an uncontainable mess. Fans weren't just angry anymore, they were done. Done with the silence, the arrogance, the protection of men who think being on camera gives them immunity. And as the movement around Karlie grew louder, so did the questions about VH1's role in all this. Why wasn't the footage aired? Why was everyone who saw it suddenly gagged and off the record? A former production assistant, who allegedly quit mid-season, went anonymous on a gossip podcast and claimed there were explicit instructions to shelve anything that made Kirk look aggressive. They said it came straight from the top, that the network didn't want to derail his redemption arc. As if Kirk hadn't been derailing it himself for 10 years straight. Meanwhile, petitions were circulating. Fans demanded the reunion be aired unedited, raw footage and all. Hashtags were trending again, not for drama, for justice. And still, Kirk refused to address the core of the issue. Instead, he posted another clip, him inside a luxury car, music blasting, captioned, "Silence is strength." But this time, even his defenders were side-eyeing him. The optics were off. Because while he was flexing leased vehicles and motivational captions, Karlie was quietly sitting down with real people, interviewers, podcast hosts, emotional but composed. One clip, in particular, went viral, Karlie wiping her eyes, saying, "I didn't go public for attention, I went public because the silence was eating me alive." She didn't beg for sympathy. She didn't try to weaponize her pain. She just said what needed to be said. And whether you believed every word or not, her courage was undeniable, because speaking out when you know the machine is designed to discredit you. That's not clout chasing, that's survival. As the dust started to settle, a new storm was brewing. Legal drama. Word spread that Karlie had lawyered up again. Not to press charges, not yet, but to ensure that her contract wasn't being used to silence her. And, apparently, VH1 got nervous. Because suddenly, producers began calling cast members in for one-on-one sit-downs, trying to clarify timelines and check the consistency of accounts. Translation, they were trying to control the damage before someone forced their hand in court. Rashida was reportedly one of those called in, and she walked in calm, dressed in all black, and according to a witness, left without saying a single word. That silence. That was louder than anything Kirk ever mumbled. Fans took it as a sign that Rashida was done playing ride or die. And the irony. Kirk didn't even notice. He was too busy DMing radio hosts offering to clear the air only if the interview was respectful and focused on growth. Growth? Sir, your entire marriage just imploded on national television and you're worried about optics. But here's where it all turned again, because while fans were piecing together the social media breadcrumbs and praying someone would leak the full reunion footage, something new hit the internet. A private Patreon dropped what they claimed was a security still from the studio parking lot. It showed Kirk standing by Karlie's car, face twisted, finger pointing, her arm halfway up, as if shielding herself. There was no audio, no video, just one still image. But it was enough to blow the story wide open again. People zoomed in. They analyzed shadows. They matched outfits from other footage. And whether it was authentic or not, the perception was sealed. The slap, the confrontation. Suddenly, it wasn't speculation anymore. It was the story. The blogs ran it like wildfire. Karlie confronted in lot. Security intervened. News still may prove Kirk got physical. And VH1, not a word. Not even a denial. Which of course, made things worse. The story stopped being about Karlie. It stopped being about Kirk. It became a mirror. A messy, unfiltered reflection of how platforms protect the men who generate ratings. And how women, especially black women, are left to pick up the pieces in silence. Even Rashida's past interviews were getting resurfaced. One clip showed her once saying, "I don't care what people say about Kirk. I know who he is behind closed doors." That quote didn't land so well anymore. Because now everyone was asking what really happens behind closed doors. And why is the network so desperate to keep them shut? Amid the chaos, something unexpected happened. Karlie dropped another envelope. Not literally, figuratively. A brief appearance on a live stream with a popular blogger. She didn't name names. She didn't drop receipts, but when asked if she'd ever felt unsafe with Kirk, her eyes said everything. And then she said, "I don't want revenge. I want freedom." Those words hit different. They echoed across timelines. Women in the comments started sharing their own stories of being silenced, gaslit, told to protect someone's image while bleeding behind the scenes. What started as celebrity gossip had turned into a social conversation, and Karlie, she wasn't backing down. She posted a black screen with one line, "I'm not the villain, I'm the witness." You could practically hear the internet gasp, and that was it. The final straw. Fans didn't want her silenced. They wanted her story told. Fully raw, messy, uncut. And then came the final move. A group of former Love and Hip Hop cast members announced a joint IG Live. They titled it, Unfiltered, The Truth Behind the Edits. And guess who was invited? Karlie. And guess who wasn't? Kirk. The Live broke records. Viewers tuned in by the tens of thousands. And while everyone was waiting for fireworks, what they got instead was raw honesty. Karlie didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just said, "They told me I'd lose everything if I said anything, but what they didn't tell me was I'd lose myself if I stayed quiet." And that was the mic drop. After years of being branded as messy, dramatic, extra, Karlie had flipped the script. And even if not everyone believed every detail, they couldn't deny she stood up when it counted. As for Kirk, well, silence doesn't protect you forever, especially not when receipts are floating, witnesses are whispering, and the entire internet has turned your storyline into a movement. He hasn't been dropped yet, but insiders say his future on the show is under review. Whatever that means, Rashida still hasn't posted another family pic since that candlelit dinner, and fans are hoping it stays that way. Because if there's one thing this saga taught us, it's that loyalty without boundaries is just self-sabotage in heels. So, where do we go from here? Is Karlie really pregnant? Is Kirk the father? Will VH1 ever release the raw footage? And most importantly, who else has stories that haven't been told? Because if this mess is any indication, the truth isn't just buried, it's been locked in a vault. But now that the doors cracked open, don't be surprised when the whole franchise comes crumbling down. If your jaw is still on the floor, don't worry, you're not alone, because this wasn't just some love and hip-hop drama. This was a full-blown emotional crime scene dressed in designer and drenched in secrets. Karlie came with tea so hot it burned through her own silence. And Kirk, well, he might have just talked himself right out of that redemption arc. So now we gotta ask, what's next? Will VH1 finally stop hiding behind editing decisions and give fans the raw, unfiltered truth they deserve? Will Kirk ever take real accountability? Or is he too busy curating cryptic captions and flexing in Lee Benzes? And let's talk about Rashida. Is she done playing the loyal wife? Or is she already planning her exit off camera in peace and private jets? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you believe Karlie's version of events? Do you think Kirk crossed the line, and if so, should he be booted from the show for good? Is VH1 just protecting another male star while a woman takes all the hits? We want to hear it all. Your theories, your outrage, your receipts. And don't forget, if you live for the mess, the mystery, and the moments that make you scream, what just happened? Hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a second of the truth they don't want you to see. Because in this world of reality TV, the real drama isn't in the episodes. It's in what gets cut out. This has been your front row seat to the scandal. But trust us, the next twist, it's already brewing. Stay locked in, stay nosy, and stay ready. Because we're just getting started.